Why would a YouTuber build a channel from nothing, gain millions of subscribers, and then disappear? Today, we'll explore the most unsettling reasons why once thriving YouTube channels were abandoned, starting with the mildest cases before uncovering the most shocking and tragic ones. Trevor Jacob. Trevor Jacob wasn't just any YouTuber, he was an Olympic athlete. Representing the US in snowboarding at the 2014 Winter Olympics, he had already made a name for himself in extreme sports. Whether it was skateboarding, BMX, motocross, or even mixed martial arts, Trevor thrived on adrenaline. Naturally, when he launched a YouTube channel, his content revolved around high-risk stunts. His fearless approach quickly attracted viewers, helping him surpass 100,000 subscribers. But in late 2021, Trevor would pull off a stunt that would change everything. On November 24, 2021, Trevor took off from Lompoc City Airport in California, heading toward Mammoth Mountain in a small, single-engine aircraft. Midway through the flight, he suddenly claimed his engine had failed. Looking concerned, he searched for a safe place to land, but, according to him, there was none. With no other option, he opened the door, leaped out with a parachute, and recorded himself free-falling with a selfie stick. Meanwhile, his empty plane spiraled out of control, eventually crashing into the Los Padres National Forest. Cameras attached to the aircraft captured the entire event. Once he landed safely, Trevor expressed his relief, saying he was lucky to be alive. On December 23, he uploaded a 12-minute video titled, "I Crashed My Airplane," and the internet went crazy. The clip racked up millions of views, and fans were stunned by the shocking footage. But not everyone was convinced. As more people watched the video, skepticism started to grow. Some questioned why he was already wearing a parachute before the supposed engine failure. Others pointed out that he made no attempt to glide to safety, something an experienced pilot would typically do. The inconsistencies piled up, and soon, authorities were brought in to investigate. But here's what Trevor didn't expect: staging a plane crash isn't just reckless, it's illegal. Realizing he was in serious trouble, Trevor allegedly tried to cover his tracks. Reports suggested he even returned to the crash site to destroy evidence. But it was too late. The FAA launched an investigation, and the truth started to unravel. What was supposed to be a viral stunt quickly turned into a federal offense. Trevor Jacob had spent years building his career on extreme sports and wild stunts, but this time, he had gone too far. And now, he was about to face the consequences.
Has been sentenced to prison time for crashing an airplane on purpose. Trevor Jacob is a pilot and former Olympic snowboarder who competed in the 2014 Sochi Games. On November 24, 2021, the United States Attorney's Office says Jacob intentionally crashed a Taylor-Craft BL-65 plane.
When Trevor Jacob uploaded "I Crashed My Airplane" in December 2021, the internet was stunned. A small-engine aircraft spiraling out of control, a daring mid-air escape, and a dramatic landing, it was all the perfect recipe for a viral video. But as the footage gained millions of views, people began noticing something strange. The first thing that stood out? Trevor was already wearing a parachute before takeoff. While pilots sometimes wear parachutes, it was suspicious, almost as if he knew he was going to jump. Then there was the lack of evidence. The video never showed the plane's controls or engine instruments, meaning there was no actual proof that the engine had failed. But the biggest red flag? Trevor never attempted basic emergency procedures. No engine restart, no mayday call to air traffic control, no attempt to glide the plane to safety. Instead, he just jumped out. At this point, the crash was looking less like an accident and more like a stunt for views. As authorities launched an investigation, Trevor acted unconcerned. He brushed off criticism, saying people could believe whatever they wanted. But as pressure mounted, he made a critical mistake. He committed another crime in an attempt to cover up the first. And that's when everything started to unravel.
Jacob was told he was responsible for preserving the wreckage so the agency could examine it. Instead, he went back to the wreckage site and moved parts of the plane to a hangar where he destroyed them.
In a shocking turn of events, Jacob's actions led to a federal investigation being obstructed. The YouTuber destroyed key evidence and then lied to investigators, claiming he couldn't recall the location of the crash. However, the biggest piece of evidence that sealed his fate was a YouTube video showing the entire incident. After months of investigation, the authorities concluded that Jacob had crashed his plane on purpose, seeking attention and views. In May 2023, Jacob faced justice by pleading guilty to all charges. He was sentenced to 6 months in federal prison and temporarily lost his pilot's license.
Did pretend that, the engine died and kind of made the saga of the video.
You were acting a bit?
Yeah.
Following his sentencing, Trevor Jacob completely stepped away from YouTube, putting his entire career on hold. After serving his time, he was released from jail on June 12, 2024. Since then, he's only uploaded one video, which was posted 9 months ago, but it looks like he's fully abandoned the platform. It's a clear example of how one bad decision can bring down an entire YouTube career, and in the next story, we'll see another creator who made a mistake that cost them everything. Jenna Marbles. Jenna Marbles was one of YouTube's biggest early stars, dominating the platform with 20 million subscribers and over 1.8 billion views. She became the first YouTuber to have a wax figure at Madame Tussauds in New York, and her content was so influential that it was even covered by major news outlets like ABC News and the New York Times. Then, at the height of her success, she walked away from it all. Her channel wasn't demonetized, and there were no health issues forcing her to leave, she simply quit. But why? To answer that, we need to look at how she became a YouTube icon in the first place. Before her internet fame, Jenna worked as a go-go dancer in nightclubs. Then, in 2010, she made history when her first ever YouTube video went viral. How to trick people into thinking you're good-looking pulled in 5.3 million views in just 1 week, a number most creators could only dream of.
Hello there, friends, and welcome to my tutorial on how to trick people into thinking you're really good-looking.
Jenna didn't just get lucky with one viral video, she kept the momentum going. Her next big hit, How to Avoid People You Don't Want to Talk To, was so popular that it caught the attention of major media outlets. Both the New York Times and ABC News covered the video, giving her national recognition and solidifying her place as one of YouTube's biggest rising stars.
A young woman who is the queen of clicks. Her YouTube videos have been viewed by more than 1 billion. So many teens and tweens hanging on her every word. And ABC's Cecilia Vega has her story.
Jenna's rise to fame was nothing short of meteoric. After gaining massive popularity, she signed with a top talent agency, solidifying her place in the entertainment world. She then capitalized on her viral success by launching t-shirts featuring her most iconic catchphrases. But she didn't stop there. Jenna even took on the role of executive producer for a Hollywood movie. And naturally, with all this success, the money followed. Her YouTube career alone raked in millions, making her one of the platform's top-earning stars. After a decade of YouTube stardom, Jenna had become a household name. But in 2020, a single mistake from her past came back to haunt her. A resurfaced video from 2011 showed her imitating Nicki Minaj while wearing blackface, a practice widely condemned as offensive. Outrage spread like wildfire, and social media exploded with backlash. But it didn't stop there. As people dug deeper, they found more problematic content, one video with derogatory remarks about an Asian man and another from 2012 that contained offensive comments about women. The controversy spiraled out of control. Facing mounting criticism, Jenna had no choice but to address the situation. She uploaded an emotional apology video, but by then, the damage was already done.
I don't think I'm having a good time. And it seems like maybe some other people aren't having a good time, so for now, I just can't exist on this channel.
When Jenna addressed the controversy, she made it clear that offending people was never her intention. But in her words, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that people were hurt. She wished those videos weren't part of her past, but there was no undoing the damage. Then came the announcement that shocked millions: Jenna was quitting YouTube. This wasn't just a temporary break, it was her way of escaping the relentless backlash. She had already deleted the offensive videos and taken responsibility, but the hate didn't stop. It seemed like people weren't interested in her growth, they just wanted her gone. Her departure became headline news, proving just how beloved she was. Fans were devastated, with one saying, "I watch Jenna's videos every night. The thought of her never coming back breaks my heart." Jenna's story is a disturbing example of cancel culture at its worst. Despite owning up to her mistakes, the internet decided it wasn't enough. And in the end, YouTube lost one of its biggest stars, not because she refused to change, but because people refused to let her. Snakebit McGee. At first glance, Snakebit McGee seemed like just another hiking channel. But in reality, it was much more than that. The man behind it, Kenny Veach, was an experienced hiker who documented his treks through the vast deserts of Nevada and California, sharing his adventures with the world on YouTube.
He is big. Look at the horns on that guy. That's why I love coming out here. You never know what you're gonna see.
Hiking through the Nevada and California deserts was far more dangerous than most viewers realized. Temperatures could reach a blistering 134 degrees Fahrenheit, water was scarce, and dehydration could set in within hours. But despite these extreme conditions, Kenny Veach hiked alone, with no map, no compass, and only minimal supplies. He was also trekking through land filled with rattlesnakes, mountain lions, and coyotes. Rather than avoiding them, Kenny had a habit of playing with rattlesnakes for fun. It was only a matter of time before one of his adventures took a tragic turn. Kenny's problems all started with a seemingly harmless YouTube comment. In June 2014, a channel called Serious Disclosure uploaded a video titled Son of an Area 51 Technician. The video featured a man claiming that his father had worked as an engineer at the top-secret military base in Nevada. Many conspiracy theorists believe Area 51 is where the US government hides evidence of UFOs and extraterrestrial technology. Naturally, the video sparked discussion, but it was one particular comment that caught everyone's attention, one left by Kenny Veach himself. Kenny described an unusual discovery he made while hiking. He claimed to have found a mysterious cave shaped like a perfect M near Area 51. According to him, as he approached the cave, his entire body started vibrating, and the closer he got, the stronger the sensation became. Overcome with fear, he ran away. His story immediately fascinated the online community. Was this M-shaped cave proof of something otherworldly? There was just one problem: Kenny had no proof. Skeptics began calling him out, demanding evidence. To silence the doubters, he promised to return to the cave and film it. His subscribers encouraged him to retrace his steps and document his findings. For an experienced hiker like Kenny, it should have been an easy mission. But this trip would turn into a nightmare. In late 2014, Kenny set out to find the M cave again, but this time, something felt different. He seemed nervous, more cautious than usual. And unlike previous hikes, he brought along a firearm, just in case.
Solo hikes and have some fun. My mission today is to just do a one-day hike. It's about a 10-hour hike. I got to still go over another ridge and then go all the way down a big crevice that's real narrow and gets kind of scary. I'm looking for a cave that I found, and I didn't have a sidearm when I was here before, and something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go in there right now.
Kenny's attempt to relocate the mysterious cave didn't go as planned. In a video titled M Cave Hike, he admitted that despite spending days trekking through the scorching desert, the cave was nowhere to be found. His search had ended in complete failure.
Well, I did not find the cave. That is so weird. I mean, I thought for sure I was just gonna be able to find it.
After failing to find the M cave, Kenny faced intense backlash from his audience. Disappointed viewers flooded the comments, accusing him of making the whole thing up. Determined to prove them wrong, Kenny set out on another hike in November 2014. He told his family he'd be back the next day, but he never returned. Concerned, Kenny's girlfriend reported him missing, prompting a massive search effort. Days later, search teams discovered his phone near an abandoned mine shaft, while his car was found hours away. But aside from these clues, there was no sign of Kenny. He had seemingly vanished without a trace. This only fueled conspiracy theories. Some believed he had finally found the cave, only for the government to silence him. The speculation grew even stronger when his comments about the M cave mysteriously disappeared from YouTube. One user even pointed it out, saying, "Kenny's comments are gone." Why? I was looking into the M cave mystery, and now I truly believe the government is involved. To this day, Kenny Veach has never been found, and his YouTube channel remains frozen in time. He set out to solve a mystery, but in the end, he became one himself. Nutty's diary. At just 29 years old, Nathaman Kong, better known as Nutty, was one of Thailand's most successful YouTubers. She started her channel in 2014, posting K-pop dance covers, singing tutorials, and daily vlogs. Her beauty and charisma attracted a massive audience, eventually growing her channel to over 800,000 subscribers and millions of views. With fame came fortune, and Nutty wasn't shy about spending it. She flaunted her luxurious lifestyle, showing off expensive cars, high-end watches, and lavish properties. Fans watched in awe, dreaming of achieving the same level of wealth. But then, Nutty did something that no one expected. She quit singing and dancing to become a financial guru. Rebranding as Coach Nutty, she claimed to be a master forex trader, capable of making thousands of dollars in minutes and even over $100,000 a day. To prove it, she posted images showing supposed profits, convincing her audience that she had cracked the code to instant wealth. Then came her pitch. Nutty told her fans that if they sent her money, she would invest it for them, guaranteeing returns as high as 35%, a figure far beyond the average stock market return of 5 to 7%. It was an opportunity too good to pass up, and more than 6,000 people handed over their savings, trusting Nutty to make them rich. But there was just one problem: the money was never coming back. By April 2022, thousands of investors realized that their returns weren't arriving. Complaints poured in, demanding answers. But Nutty's response was shocking. She claimed to have lost everything due to a bad trade. The total amount? $55 million. In an Instagram post, she begged for time to repay her investors. Then, she disappeared. Vanished without a trace. As panic spread, some victims sued Nutty, but she responded by saying that if she was imprisoned, she wouldn't be able to repay anyone. Meanwhile, rumors swirled that she had fled the country, possibly escaping to Malaysia. Angry victims pooled their money together, raising a $55,000 bounty for her capture. But despite all efforts, Nutty remains missing to this day. Her once thriving YouTube channel, Nutty's Diary, has been abandoned for over 2 years, a haunting reminder of the influencer who promised millions but delivered nothing but loss. Apetor. In November 2021, the YouTuber Apetor uploaded a video titled, "I Am Not Dead. I Am 57 Today." Just days later, that title would become shockingly ironic. Apetor wasn't like other creators. His content was a bizarre mix of death-defying ice stunts and unusual licking habits. One day, he'd be skating on frozen lakes or diving into ice holes, and the next, he'd be licking signposts, old cars, and even pieces of glass. His videos were as strange as they were fascinating, and millions of people couldn't look away. But Apetor wasn't just some reckless thrill-seeker. His real name was Tore Koff, and before YouTube fame, he lived a normal life in Norway with his partner and child. So how did he go from family man to performing dangerous stunts in sub-zero temperatures? Tor had always loved the outdoors. But after spending years in the city, he grew bored of traditional camping and hiking. So in 2006, he left it all behind, his family, city life, and stability, to move into a remote cabin in the Norwegian countryside. He took a job at a paint factory and started posting YouTube videos in his free time. For 5 years, his content went unnoticed. But in 2011, everything changed when he uploaded on Thin Sea Ice 2, a video of him skating on thin ice while making seal noises. It went viral, hitting 1 million views in a week. From that moment, he leaned into his eccentric style, pushing the limits with riskier and stranger stunts. Eventually, he had a video reach an insane 105 million views. But while his audience loved his crazy stunts, one thing was clear: it was only a matter of time before something went terribly wrong. On November 27, 2021, Apetor set out to film another ice stunt. He had done this countless times before. But this time, something went wrong. While recording on a frozen lake, Tore Koff fell through the ice. It would be his last video. His YouTube legacy lives on, but the man behind Apetor, a thrill-seeker who pushed the limits of ice-cold danger, met a fate that, in hindsight, seemed tragically inevitable.
С днем рождения!